We just had a strange hiccup here on the stream. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the Rant. I am Pugs Moran. We are Radio Misfits Dallas, part of the RadioMisfits.com family. We do a rant here, or I do a rant here every day at noon. It's current events. And when I say rant, it's just a middle-aged narcissist just screaming about the world. Current events, hot topics, everything, headlines, all the stuff that's happening in the world. I don't really have a political filter. I'm neither right nor left. I like to say I'm one of the normal people. And there's really not a lot of talk for us normal people anymore. Even the ones, well, Mr. Popular, even those of us who are, confused and slightly angry about the world that lays before us. That's normal. That's Monday through Friday. We've been doing that for 3 years, and I appreciate all you guys. Say hi to the chat room real quick here. All right, let me see here. Are we merged properly? We are. As you can see, I am not better, and none of us are better. Although we are going through the stages, I guess, the stages of grief, right? So today is just going to be another day where I just talk. Although there will be more. We're going to look at some pictures of her. I want to look at some pictures. I want to tell you some stories about what we're seeing. I would love to be able to listen to her, to hear some of her stuff, but I haven't been able to do that. We're talking about, I just realized how unprofessional. We're talking about my former partner, Kelly Mohr, longtime co-host of the Pugs and Kelly show here in Dallas and before that in Chicago. She suddenly passed away on Monday, and we're all just still spinning from that. So I have not been able to listen to any of our stuff. I mean, here's another thing that I'm grappling with, and I hope that you, my people in the chat room, you guys who have been with me every day for the past 3 years, who kind of know me, I think, because this is, non-traditional therapy. I always try to be authentic. I always try to be as raw and real as possible. But, there is also elements of performance, because I'm a showman. But it's like days like today, like, man, I'm really sort of struggling with how to find that performance, so it's just kind of, I'm saddled with a just unbearably heavy sense of ennui, if you will. My days, the last couple of days have been endless phone calls, endless crying with people, telling people, giving people the worst news that they could possibly get on this day. Friends, mutual friends of ours who we go back 20, 25 years. And if, I didn't reach out to them, they're calling me. And by the way, I do want to say this. I need to say this. Thank God you don't get charged by the text or the missed call, because I have easily dozens of people that I have to, over the next couple of days, reach out to, and I haven't yet. I'm sorry. Texts, so many people have texted such wonderful things. Facebook posts such wonderful things. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. She wouldn't believe it. We were laughing yesterday, some of us, about how all of this and me feeling this way, and all the other people who are inside her inner circle feeling this way, and even you, the listener, like the tributes that you people have written, and we're gonna read some of those. She would have hated this. And I know people say that all the time. People are like, oh, they would have hated this. And they say that in a way to show humility on the part of the departed, because maybe they didn't have all that many great attributes. I can promise you that humility, not even humility is the wrong word. Self-loathing is like, that was Kelly's defining inner characteristic. So this would all embarrass her to all hell. She would feel completely unworthy of it. So thank you. It's all very nice. And you know me, any opportunity I can take to embarrass her, I'm going to. Even here, even this last one. Yeah, we're going to make a fuss. Tonight, should be noted that tonight at 8 o'clock, we will be doing a live stream. I have not been overly involved in the booking of this live stream tonight. That's your James Parker taking control of that. So tonight's live stream is going to be me, James, Sybil, and even Eric is going to be in attendance. But Eric we got to protect Eric. Eric wants to be here. Eric has to be here. Eric has to hear these things, but some people's lives don't need to be public anymore. And so we're going to protect that, but know that he's here. I don't know. We're putting together a list of people to come on. Some people you don't know, like, her. I'd like to get her one of her best friends from back home being, high school in Chicago. I'd like to get her. We're going to try and do that. Got a couple of people from Chicago media who are going to be joining us, who worked with her extremely close friend, Mark, who was known as Haji. Mark. Oh my God, Neil. I'm sorry. I was thinking of Shemp, her husband. I didn't mean that, Neil. Come on. I know you are. It was just, yeah. So I want to get, I would like to get as many pieces of the old Danny Bonaducci show together to just tell a story about her tonight. So that's what I'm kind of working on. Danny himself, we put those feelers out, but he hasn't been, he's got some medical things very widely publicized in the news. I'm not familiar with where his current state is. So, but that period of time meant so much to her. And I got to see, I wasn't in that inner circle because I was a part of a different show. I was in a different street gang back then, but yeah, our offices were right next to each other, and they got some stories. So we'll do that. And then we're going to drink. Oh yeah. I'll show you what I'm going to drink. Can I just tell you how much you people mean to us? Actually, that's a strange way to say it. I mean, I guess it's an indication of how much she meant to you guys that I don't know. So yesterday I'm here. I'm on the phone. I'm constantly on the phone with one of the brothers or trying to check in with Dak. God, that dude, that kid. Oh, man, is he crushing it. And so I'm on the phone with Kevin, her brother, yesterday, and we're making arrangements and stuff. And I hear the doorbell here at the studio ring. And we get endless FedEx, so it's not a big deal. And I'm just like, okay, is this one I got to sign for? So I'm like, hold on, Kevin. So I walk up there and I open the door, and it's April from the chat room. I mean, it's no secret where we are. We're at the E-Gallery Studios. It's April. She just works right down the street. She's got a care package. I'm like, you want to come in? But I guess she heard I was on the phone with Kevin, and she's like, no, that's okay. She just stops by to give me this for tonight's broadcast, which is so spot on. So yeah, I'll be drinking Jameson Black Barrel and an Uber card, because I joked that I'll have to Uber. And also some legal hemp, which are very nice. I mean, is there a better care package for someone in mourning? My God, April, thank you. That was so moving. So like she left pulling away, and I'm crying on the phone with Kelly's brother. He's like, "What's wrong?" I go, "I don't know. I can't take all this emotion. It's so draining. Probably taken 12 aspirin in the last 2 days. Just this constant like emotional headache. You ever had those where you're just oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, Adam, we'll talk. Adam Rayna, we'll talk. That's incredible. That's a very, geez, you guys are all so awesome. Thank you to Adam, chat room Adam. Okay, so where are we? What is the latest update? We're awaiting the medical examiner's report. The leading suspect still in my mind is that she had some sort of an aneurysm or some sort of brain episode that is related to her brain surgery and brain incident from about 5 years ago that we had all just assumed she completely recovered from. That's the leading candidate. Again, she went to sleep on Sunday night, and in the morning, her youngest son went in to wake up mommy, and you know, she didn't wake up. So then he ran and got his bigger brother, who's only like 2 years older or something. He comes waddling in, and they can't wake up mommy. So then what do? The first person they call is big brother Declan. Big brother Declan, who's a school teacher, like teacher of the year, super popular, football coach. Everybody loves him. He's the cool 25-year-old teacher at the school. I mean, he's Kelly's son. I mean, you know he's going to be cool. So they call him. He comes over, and he immediately recognizes what's happening. And so we don't know. So she went to sleep, but she didn't wake up. I'm thinking that it's related to her health emergency from about 5 years ago. Okay. Speaking of that, so the situation now is kind of interesting, because there are all kinds of. Kelly was going through a divorce. Kelly was in the middle of, you know, the separation of property and all of this kind of stuff. And because of this legal situation and her stuff not being finalized and her dying at the worst moment, there is a need for some immediate help for her son Declan and her son and her daughter McKenna, the big famous actress. That's who we're waiting on. It's out there in Hollywood. McKenna's now back, and they have the 2 little kids. So it's big brother and big sister who are now like, geez, these loyalist idiots are probably like, let's give it all up and raise these kids, which is not what. But they're there. They're with them now. They're with them now. They're in Declan's, like, you know, teacher. He's a teacher. He's a single 25-year-old teacher. They're all in his apartment, and there's end of life costs. But then there's also in the immediate, until all of this legal stuff, until things can be freed up, and, you know, there is no way to get groceries. I mean, there is. I mean, Declan works. He's a very self-sufficient young man, but there is a burden, and because of that, there is a GoFundMe page. And if you want to help out, you know, I know this show, you're probably rolling your eyes. You're like, oh, fuck this guy. You know, he does a show that runs on tips and all that stuff. No, don't even think about me. I'll be fine. But this is how I can help them by talking about this as much as I can. So here I want to show you the page and how you get there. It's GoFundMe.com, and it is in loving memory of Kelly Mohr. Or, and this is how awesome Ed is, you can just go to pugsandkellyshow.com, pugsandkellyshow.com, and it'll redirect you right to the GoFundMe page. So pugsandkellyshow.com. Here, I'll show you what it looks like, just so we know, just so when you find it. Here you go. So you're looking for this. There you go. This page on GoFundMe. It can be accessed directly by pugsandkellyshow.com. Kelly and McKenna on the left, the 2 boys in the middle, Deck on the right. Looks like they're at Disneyland. Disneyland. Boy, they were all the two on the left. I'll tell you, the two on the left, mom and daughter, they were like drunk on Disneyland shit. I'm like, you know that I'm not a Disney guy. I think Kenna was like a Disney ambassador or something. I don't know what it is, but anyway, that's the page that you're looking for. So drop a little something. I will say this about it, man. I didn't know. I don't do GoFundMe because I typically don't have a lot of extra income, you know. But I didn't know it worked like this. And first of all, the people who donate anonymous, that's pretty cool. That's a pimp move. But I don't want that. Okay, I get why there's an attraction to doing it. You don't want to know. I would like to know. I would like to know. Not like I'm keeping a list, but I have to tell you, I went through this list of people who donated. And it's blasts from the past. So that's just so nice. Big king of the donation wheel at the moment, the guy who loved Kelly the most. that's how we'll quantify it. The guy who loved Kelly the most and cares the most for her kids is the just incredible and endlessly warm, talented, and decent. Who says that like skate punk dudes are like not decent people? Can we talk a little bit about Jared Reddick from Bowling for Soup? That was a very kind donation, Jared. I would love to get Jared on tonight to say a few words, but I've lost contact with Jared. I'm going to try and reach out. I'm going to try and, use a couple of things and reach out. Jared, of course, the lead singer of Bowling for Soup, the house band at a time of the Pugs and Kelly show. They were on weekly. They participated in song jingle contests and all of that. And then you know what happened? They got huge. Bowling for Soup just blew up after hanging out with us for about 2 years as a local band, as a really fun local band. And then they blew up with all of their big nationwide Billboard charting hits. And you know what they did? They kept showing up every week. That's who they are. I tell you all the time about, there was a time when Louis C.K. was trying to get on our show every couple of weeks. But come on, enough with the Louis. And then as soon as he blows up, he don't return my texts anymore. That's how it works. Radio guys, we form these attachments with these people when they need someone to champion them. And on the local level, we do that. And I'll say a good 80% of them, the minute they break free, they don't know who you are anymore. But man, when Bowling for Soup was like, I don't know, they had a top 10 hit with, I don't know, Girl All the Bad Guys Want or 1985. It doesn't matter. They're touring. They're playing stadiums on these big bills. Video, I don't even know what the videos are, but you know what I'm saying? Like YouTube hits on their videos, touring, limousines, all of that stuff. Nothing changed them. They're in town. Yeah, we're coming off tour. We're going to be in town. Can we hang out this week? And they would just come and they would just hang out. And we're like, hey, you know how we used to treat you guys like you were just some struggling local musicians who we kind of liked? Yeah, we can't do that anymore because now you're like actual rock stars. Now when you come and tell stories, you have like tour stories about Eddie Vedder and stuff like that. Green Day. Yes, tell us again about the time. So Jared, that made me cry, man. That made me cry. Thank you so much. So there it is. That's if you're interested. And by the way, we'll be talking about this a lot tonight. On the stream that we're going to do, 8 o'clock. It's going to be me, James Parker, Sybil, and the ghost of Eric, the spirit of Eric. He will absolutely be here in spirit, just not in sound. And I'm teasing. That sounds like a good line to tease him on, but I am totally on board with that. I totally agree with it. But I also do think it's a way for me to tease Eric again, which I haven't been able to do in a long time. Which gotta say, not as comfortable now that he seems to be a very important person. Don't know how I do that. That'll be fun. Maybe we'll make a bit of it. We'll make Sybil do a voice, and she can speak as Eric. I mean, Sybil will speak as herself, but then also she will translate Eric. He will whisper in her ear, and I don't know, whatever it is, it'll be fun. And we're going to talk to some people. Some people are going to be live here in studio hanging out with us. I got the couch. We'll mic the couch and all that. And then other people will be just appearing with us via vid. And I'll say the same thing to all of them. Don't care enough about Kelly to fly in, huh? No, I'm kidding. So that's tonight at 8 o'clock right here, radiomisfits.com. Radio Misfits Dallas present another tribute to Kelly. All right. Let's see. I'm going to stop sharing that. You guys all, it's scrolling down there at the bottom if you want to, just check that out. Let's go through the chat room. Let's say hi to some people. Let's see what you guys have on your mind today. Why can't I get over to chat? There, I can't. I struggle with this. Peter's here. Hi, Peter. Barney's here. Everybody's saying KB is here. Mikey D is here. Kojak is here. Thank you, Kojak. Kojak, very nice, very kind stuff, private stuff. Thank you, Kojak. Jeff is here. Al is here. Jen is here. I think I saw Jen dropping bombs over on the Kelly Mohr thing. You people are unbelievable. You people are unbelievable. Cam is here. Barney is here. My boys, the Sports Bras. I owe you a call back. Sorry, it's been a hell of a week. Been a hell of a week, the Sports Bras. We'll get back with you, I promise. April, there's my girl. Let's see here. Not sure why my kid changed my name on here, but this is Nina. Oh, my goodness. Hi, Nina. Oh, who is this? Someone who doesn't listen. Okay. This is somebody who I really like, but she doesn't. Hold on a second. Young lady, are you there? You're on the stream.
Oh, no.
Hold on.
Sorry. I didn't realize it was that time.
Yeah, that hurts that you don't even that you don't listen every day.
I do listen. I'm so sorry. I didn't even look at the clock. I'm just calling you back.
Is this private?
No, I just was calling you back, but I think I'm going to see you tonight, yeah?
I am hoping so. That's what I was calling about. Thank you. And James reached out to you, and oh my God, Sib, I love you. We're all looking forward to hearing from you.
Yay. Okay, well, I love y'all too. I'll see you tonight.
Can I call you this afternoon?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'll call you this afternoon. Okay, bye.
Bye.
There she goes, the lovely and talented Sybil, ladies and gentlemen. Couldn't be happier. Again, this is not a typical show. It's going to be a little free form. I'm responding to. Oh, very nice. How great is that? All right. Our boy Craig Gass, one of Kelly's absolute favorite people on the planet. He was very kind. He reached out last night, and I asked him to come on. It looks like he is confirmed now as well. Still waiting to hear back from Opie, who it's asking people to do these things is rough, but I know that Kelly really liked Opie, and I know that they had a relationship that exceeded mine with him. So I always try to keep my distance. He's one of those people that I look up to in the business. So it's like I don't ever want to, but I know that she liked him, and also waiting on Danny. But other than that, some people locally that you may know. And certainly some of her old media friends and radio people from Chicago are going to stop by and drop in at some point tonight. So that's tonight, 8 o'clock. Again, 8 o'clock, radiomisfits.com. Or, just like, follow, subscribe. Do that to whatever you're watching right now, and you'll be let know. Yeah, that was Sybil. How great is it? Doesn't she just have one of those voices? And I guess I understand now I'm only speaking to people who are familiar with Sybil, and not necessarily my Chicago people. And doesn't Sybil just have, when you heard her voice on the phone, on the speaker, didn't you just start to smile? Didn't you just start to feel good, like for a minute? Like, oh my God, where has that energy been? Where has that civilization as we know it energy been? She's an amazing, amazing woman. She doesn't listen to the show, but that's okay. Sybil's the girl I talked about last night. Again, I feel like I'm talking to two groups of people because there's a lot of her friends from Chicago. Sybil is a girl who was our executive producer and co-host, for lack of a better word. She was as important to the show as anybody could have been. I told the story about her last night, how when Kelly and I were doing overnights from Chicago to Dallas, we used to do this thing where we wanted to talk to bartenders after their shift. So after the bars would close, we just had lines for, come on, bartenders, we want to hear about what happened in your bar tonight, like the bar report. And Sybil was a bartender at a strip club, and she brought that energy from the first time we went, all right, caller, you're on the air. And she was just like, she was giggling. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. That's adorable. And then she just laid down with the most articulate and hysterically funny breakdown of what went on that night in the strip club. And I remember just thinking, oh, okay, this is how you find stars. This is how. And then we, of course, talked her into calling in every night after her shift would end at the $1 Million Saloon. Sybil was a bartender at the $1 Million Saloon. And then of course, she became a regular, and then she became our call screener. And then, like I said yesterday, because it's Sybil, within 6 months of being our call screener, she was running the entire show and with an iron fist, with no tangible experience in the business before. God damn, that's impressive when you look back on it. So that was nice. That was nice to hear from Sybil. Kojak says, what does Kojak say? Hold on. I lost this thing. Ugh. I hate the way the chat room navigates on my end. Kojak says, I'm 110% sure that Bruce and Paco will take care of Our Lady up there. Yeah, she's got a lot of people up there, and Bruce and Paco are sure as shit going to be attached to her at the hip. I'm sure that her and her dad was up there. Big Tom Mohr up there hanging out, just waiting with Bruce. Oh, because Tom and Bruce, come on, they both loved the same girl. Bruce was like a big brother to Kelly. And so I'm sure they're up there waiting. And Paco was there. Paco was there, but he was just checking in. Paco's like, she here yet? She show up yet? And Paco's off. Paco is hanging out with Bill Hicks. Paco is like doing whatever Bill Hicks tells him to do up there. That's what Paco's doing. Yeah, I'm sure she's fine. She's fine up there. Yeah. I mean, look at Brian. Look at Bebo. That's for damn sure. See, that's the kind of shit that makes me cry. Bebo was Brian. I'm sorry. We're all grown-ups, except I still go by Pugs. Bebo was one of Kelly's co-producers on Danny Bonaducci. Brian B. And he just referenced Doc, who I talk about all the time, who is sort of my big brother in this business. But yeah, he's definitely up there waiting on Kelly too. And then he drops Cindy Gatz. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah, Gatsy's up there. Cindy Gatziola. She's up there. She arranged. There is like the best party for Kelly right now. There is like a killer party. Like Kurt Cobain is playing this party. That's who Cindy Gatziolis was. She was, for those in Chicago who don't know, and you in Dallas don't know either. Cindy Gatziolis was the head of promotions for the Loop, WLUP, back in the day. Back when WLUP in Chicago was setting records at Poplar Creek for Jonathan Brandmeier concerts and largest crowd ever to see a concert in Grant Park at the time. Or was it Millennium Park at the time? I don't know. No, it was Grant Park. Would have been Grant Park. Millennium Park wasn't open yet. With some Tom Jones thing that she threw together. Cindy Gatziolis was amazing. And she unfortunately died very young too, about 10 years ago. I hadn't thought about that. See, now that makes me happy because Kelly and Cindy, they loved each other. Kelly was always pitching stupid shit for Danny. She has stories. And I know this because when Cindy died a few years ago, I was in Chicago and I called Kelly immediately and we talked. It's these people, right? These people that we gather throughout our life, they don't stay with us. Not physically. But boy, all it takes is the mention of a name 10 years later, and you're like, oh, fuck. So this is what being human is. Thank you for that, Brian. That was actually pretty cool. Tammy. There's Tammy. Tammy was a part of our show. She's a friend of mine, and she became very good friends with Kelly. And I know Tammy is hurting, and I love you, girl. And there we go. Okay, this is funny now. We're talking about all the, I guess now we're talking about the dead people that we love that were associated with the Pugs and Kelly show. Paco is getting the comedy scene organized. No, he's not. No, he's not. I love that you think that way, but that is not what Paco is doing. Paco is rebelling hard against whatever the comedy scene is. Paco is, like I said, Paco is hanging out with Bill Hicks. They're Bill Hicks, Mitch Hedberg, Paco, maybe Kinnison. Maybe Kinnison is there. Certainly Carlin. Those guys, they're rebelling against, but I love the way you think. Let's see. Gary Lewandowski asks about tonight's 8 p.m. stream. Will the show be under the name Pugs and Company tonight? Well, it'll be on the Pugs and Company channel. It will probably be called Kelly Mohr Memorial or something like that. We'll come up with something. But yeah. Let's see here. Who else do we have? Patreon. All right. Still remember the time at Bell Bottoms when I was in the bathroom showing her my breast reduction scars. Okay. First of all, humble brag. Second of all, yeah, that's I've been reading these tributes to Kelly from just random listeners. The Reddit thing, which I told you yesterday, I freaking hate Reddit, man, because those people are nuts. Those people are jackals. But there's a very nice Reddit thread. It's beautiful, in fact. I haven't checked in yet this morning, but it's just filled with people. Just here's a problem I'm having. It seems cliche almost at this point after somebody like Kelly passes away. It seems cliche that we hear stories of the things you didn't know that she did. And oftentimes I think those things are put out there to counterbalance the bad shit we know they did. You know what? If a celebrity dies and they're best known for beating up a prostitute in 1988, right? There will be that sort of narrative at the end of their life. Well, the things they did that they never told you about, that. So I'm often suspect about that. But here's the thing. All these people coming forward telling these personal stories, these random encounters with Kelly where that turned into friendships. All these people telling these stories, one, they don't counterbalance anything negative. There's like nothing negative against Kelly other than, the fact that she was a bitch, and she was. And that's not an insult to her. because people tried to take advantage of her entire life, entire career. She was a bitch. She could stand up to anybody. She was fearless. I mean, that's it. That's the worst thing you can say to her. But there wasn't a person in any media group or any radio station that she worked at. There wasn't a person that worked a normal job. There wasn't a person in the traffic department. There wasn't a person in the accounting department. There wasn't a person, a low-level salesperson that didn't fucking love her, because those are the people that she remembered their names. You know, management might have been fucking pissed at her. That's because she stood her ground. And I don't know if you know this or not, but management often tries to take advantage of people. She's a terrible negotiator. She was terrible with contracts. But in the day-to-day going on of, you know, you're fucking with my show, you're fucking with what I do, you're fucking with me, she was a tiger. So that's probably it. That's probably the worst thing that anybody could say about her. She's a bitch. That chick's a bitch. She wouldn't endorse my product, you know, something like that. I'm like, yeah, she probably had a problem with your product. I find that admirable. She did not want to violate the trust that she had with the people who listened to her and did the things that she said that they should do. She didn't want to violate that. Salespeople, that fucking bitch, she won't take this account. All they want her to do is do one endorsement a day. Yeah, she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't like that product. She doesn't want to pretend to tell her people, listeners, that she doesn't actually like something, or that the bullshit. They made us do that. I wish I could say our record was clean, because there were times when we had to endorse some things that we didn't really believe in. But man, I'm telling you, that's probably less than 5% of everything we ever endorsed, especially once we got a little bit of power. Once we got a little bit of power, once the revenue was sustained, and once the numbers were sustained. So after like year 2, year 3, yeah, she really protected that aspect of things. The best example of that is there was literally a whorehouse. It was a house of prostitution. It was one of these we called them Jack Shacks, right? They're these massage parlors. And they had a whole bunch of money, and a new sales guy came in, and this was an account that he brought to the table. And because of the sexually explicit nature of the massage parlor, or at least the public perception that is what's going on there, they had to pay a premium to be on the station. And the premium was absurd. It was like a ridiculous amount of money. And they just expected nobody would ever pay it. So this place, the Swedish Institute, I guess, came to the table with this massive amount of money that was just absurd, like Elon Musk trying to buy Twitter. And they tried to make us do endorsements for this place. And, you know, I was kind of down. I was like, well, this could be fun. I mean, how much do they want us to have fun with this place? I mean, we're not necessarily I'm not against the idea of legalizing prostitution, or people who can't get it having a place to go. You know, it's fine. I don't have a problem morally or ethically with that. But Kelly did have a problem with that being associated with her show. She would say, I got kids. I go, I got 2 kids. I go, I cannot be somebody who is sitting here. You know, I want my kids to be able to listen to the show. Now, we weren't a kid's show. Her kids were different, as I'm learning now. Her kids were just different. They were just raised by Kelly, and so they knew. They were always talked to like adults. You know, it's the one thing that Kelly did with her son Declan that I replicated with my son Mason. And I'm telling you, it is the best piece of parenting advice that she ever gave me. She said, and I saw this play out with Declan, she said, never speak to them in baby talk or treat them like they're infants. When you speak to them directly, speak to them like they're an adult. And I just thought that was crazy. I'm like, well, they're not adults, but they will become accustomed to this being the way to communicate. And what you'll have is what she had in Declan, which was a 9-year-old who was ready to give a TED talk. or like my Mason, he's 15. I swear to God, he can do a show on NPR. I mean, That was the best piece of advice that she gave me. She goes, don't talk down to them. Don't talk to your children. I mean, you can talk to them. Don't use baby talk, is what she said. Treat them with respect. Talk to them like they're grown-ups. And their verbal skills and the way they utilize words will reflect that. Might get you beat up on a playground at 7 years old for talking like a 35-year-old divorcee, but So where was I? My head is spinning, as you can imagine. Okay, so we talked about her crowdfunding thing. We did a couple of stories. I talked about how all these people who are coming out and how normally I think that I kind of roll my eyes. Oh, the things they did. Not with Kelly. I'm reading so many things. So many of you have sent me, and I can't even read some of them because they're just private and they're just personal. And they're from people that don't need their names out there to be public. But remember how I told you yesterday how I couldn't do phones with Kelly? Just because Kelly was a 1 hour minimum. I mean, you were making a commitment that the next hour minimum of your life was going to be engaged with her talking about her doing a radio show. It was just it. Hey, did you see this? What are you doing, Kelly? What's going on? I'm just sitting here. I don't know. I'm just in my kitchen. I'm just looking at the laptop. I'm like, oh, well, okay. All right. Hey, did you see this about Taylor Swift? She was so hungry. And then she used to complain. She's like, you have no idea how cut off I am. It's like, I sit here at home all day. I got these 2 kids. He's like, all I do is everything is for them. I don't speak to adults. I'm like, well, I think you do, because by my count, you're spending a good 6 to 7 hours on the phone with all of us. This wasn't a situation where anybody lost track or I haven't spoken to her in a while. This was not that situation. Kelly was extremely present in all of our lives currently. And that's why it is unbelievable. I cannot believe I'll never be forced to ditch one of her calls. I can't believe that. I can't believe that I will never have the guilt that I always felt when I'd see her call and I'd go, okay, I got to call her back. I always called her back. I just always wasn't readily available for her calls. And I think she understood. Her and I think there were different rules for her and I. At least I hope there were, because that's the only way that I'll be able to sleep. Otherwise, I just feel way too guilty. But I think I don't have any question about how she felt about me. And that's really nice when somebody dies suddenly. And she didn't have any question about how I felt about her. Other than that, I was bored by her in a brotherly way. Still hasn't hit. Still hasn't really hit. And I'm thinking maybe it won't hit in any sort of big, gigantic way. I'm thinking that maybe this process of just laughing and crying and then difficult phone calls and headaches, but then laughing again. And then I'm hoping that is the process. But I was walking the dog this morning. I'm out there. The kids are going back to school now. So the streets are just packed with kids, and I'm just walking. And I just couldn't stop thinking about Locke and Quinn, her 2 youngest kids. And it was weird. It was right there at that moment where I just started crying. I'm walking the dog. I'm a grown-ass man. I got a cup of coffee in my hand. But I'm seeing all these little kids go into this middle school. I just started crying. I mean, not hysterically, like neighbors weren't going to call the cops or anything, but I physically, it just hit me. It just hit me really hard. Talked to my own kid, Mace, on the phone last night for an hour. It was his first day of school yesterday. And I haven't told him. He doesn't know about Aunt Kelly. I don't know how to do that. And he's going to be fine. I mean, he's, you know what he's going to be? He's going to be more concerned about me. He's going to be more concerned about me and his Uncle E. Because he knew that the 3 of us were very, very close. He only knew her as his Aunt Kelly on the speaker in the car. Because she called a lot, often when he was in the car. And I would be like, all right, Kelly, Mace is with me. And he's like, hi, Kelly. It's like, hi, Mace. And then she'd just go. And I would use him as an excuse. All right, we're at football practice. I got to go. Okay. Click. I haven't told him yet. I got him this weekend. We'll talk about it this weekend. We'll look at some stuff. And he'll be into it because he's an awesome kid. But yeah, I haven't talked to him. He is going to feel like family because he knows that she was my sister. Okay. Sorry, let's go through some more of these. God, I'm being so maudlin, you guys. I know it's over the top, but look, y'all know that I already suffer from depression. And although these kinds of things have not traditionally been triggers for my depression, just let me go with this. Okay, just let me work through this being maudlin. Let's see here. Bullet Darkheart says, this is why I trusted her. Your recommendations once y'all were up and going from mortgage reps and food companies, Kelly came off so tough to me, even when soft inside, confidence with authenticity. Yeah, I'll tell you this though, because this is the case for both of us. We were very similar people, very, very, different opinions. And as far as our principles, as far as like the way our worldview, we were very similar. And I feel comfortable saying that what you perceived as confidence is not accurate. The authenticity, she was very authentic, but she was very insecure. So was I. We were there. We fabricated confidence. You have to, Again, I'll go back to when we first came down here to Texas and how scary it was. It was incredibly scary. And we adopted the persona that we were going to be super friendly, but also super tough. Like the minute somebody was being friendly, how you doing? And then they said something shitty to us, we were going to fucking say shit right back to them immediately. Prison rules, that whole thing. That was kind of our attitude. That's how we got off on a bad foot with Russ Martin. Russ Martin was a D-bag from the very beginning. And we both as a team were like, yeah, we're not putting up with that shit. Fuck you, dude. Like as he's walking down the hallway, the new kids. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Yeah, you got a problem, dude? That was like day 2. She wouldn't stand for it. Actually, that was me. She was the Mata Hari. She would bat her eyes and be like, oh, Russ, can't we be friends? While trying to seduce his big dumb ass. But yeah, she was tough, but that was not natural, and it was manufactured toughness, manufactured confidence. But she was authentic. She was entirely authentic, too authentic, if you ask me. Let's see here. Brady says, I had to leave because tears just became too much. It is going to come in random waves, man. Love you. Thank you, Brady. I love you as well. I hate that there we go. Let's see what else. Scott, here's our boy Scott, one of the original Nerd Herd. If you remember the Nerd Herd, I forgot about that. I was reminded of that yesterday. That was the original group of people that we surrounded ourselves with. Remember I told you yesterday how Kelly said I got a plan? And yesterday, it was I should go further back on that plan. Kelly's plan that she stated to me was, we're going to come down here and we are going to be super available. We're going to do everything. And when they don't have something for us to do, we're just going to tell people on the radio where we're going to be, and we're going to turn it into something. We're going to go to people's houses. We're going to go to people's birthdays. We're going to go to people's weddings. I told you yesterday about the bit she wanted to do where she just took her kids to somebody's house for dinner every week based on the menu they were making. Wouldn't let her do that. That seemed a little bit too dangerous. She got all that stuff from her time on Danny Bonaducci's show. That's what Danny Bonaducci did to ingratiate himself in Chicago. She brought that here, and it worked. She said, Pugs, I'm never going to forget. She said, Pugs, we're going to make as many friends as quickly as possible, and we're going to surround ourselves with them. And those friends became known as the Nerd Herd. The Nerd Herd. I haven't heard that term in a while. And Scott was a founding member and chief documentarian of the Nerd Herd experience. He says, I tried writing something, but I can't even get a sentence out without losing it. I understood, brother. I understand. I'd love to see you again soon. I hope you're well. Let's see here. I'm just going through some of these things. Like I said, guys, what do you want to talk about? The Starliner astronauts? Ugh. You talk about Trump and Harris? Ugh. I do want to talk about J.D. Vance and drag. Come on, you know I want to talk about that. You know I want to get into that. I'm the one that identified very early on that he was wearing mascara. Months ago, I was on he's wearing mascara. And then just now that pops. And now you're telling me there's pictures of him. And I say pictures, plural, of him in drag? We don't want to do that. That's just funny. Stop being like, I thought you don't do politics. That's just funny. That is not political. That is just funny. All right, we'll move on. Like I need this nonsense. Let's see here. Gatto says, I'm glad she wasn't isolated. It seems like she disappeared to me. Glad I was wrong. Well, she was isolated physically. Like she just felt like she was far away from her. And that's why the phone became her lifeline. She was just constantly on the phone with Kevin or Tommy or E or me or Ed or anybody. That was what's going on, E? E is here. E is making big preparations for our 8 p.m. stream tonight here from the E Gallery studio. You can talk. I'm streaming live. I'm talking to a chat room has 75 people in it right now. So hey, he says hey, and he is just. Let's see here. So, Petra says, I have so many memories with you. Kelly and Bruce and my life forever changed. And I'm so thankful for that. Yeah, Petra, another one of the original Nerd Herd going back 20 some years at this point. Love you, Petra. We've got Gatto again. He says, I'm glad we already did that. We already did that one. Let me keep moving up. Here you go. That is a gift. That was a gift from April, who dropped that by. Listener April. It's a morning package, which I think is absolutely appropriate. Yeah, we were talking about this. And did I tell the story? Did I tell the story why this is so important and why April is just such a baller for understanding this? Jameson is probably the best trip that Kelly and I went on. Jameson, we became ambassadors for Jameson. The story goes, when I first moved down here, Jameson was my drink. Jameson was a very common drink in Chicago bars. But when I first moved down here in 2002, I used to complain on the air that no bars had Jameson. And when you wanted Irish whiskey, they would try to give you Bushmills and tell me, 100% Irishman, that Bushmills is the same as Jameson when it's not. One is Jameson, the elixir of the gods. The other is violent British swill. So that's why I don't drink Bushmills. And I used to complain about that all the time. And all of a sudden, Jameson is like around 2004, they did a major national ad campaign where they started becoming a bigger national, and they hired us as their ambassadors, and so they kept us flush with Jameson and took us to the Jameson distillery in Ireland on St. Patrick's Day, and they gave us all kinds. We still got all of our. I'm sure Kelly does too. She used to wear it. Kelly used to wear her Jameson all-weather slicker that they gave us. She used to wear it on Practical Picks. So thank you to April for knowing that.
I was just gonna say, didn't we figure out that Jameson wasn't was also doing the Costco brand?
Was it Jameson? It might the Kirkwood. There you go. I may or may not have known that and been serving that for years, but yeah, we did. Yes, Jameson, and the vodka is like another really high end vodka, like something that's a rail vodka, not a rail vodka, but a shelf vodka.
But I remember we were like, wait a minute, this is like kind of a ripoff.
Well, yeah, if Jameson is willing to sell it at a discount price. All right, that's not what we're talking about, but that is the kind of shit we'll be talking about tonight at 8 o'clock. So join us on the stream. And again, pugsandkellyshow.com. That's your direct link to the GoFundMe page for Kelly and for her kids. I'm going to check back in on that. You guys are balling out. You guys are absolutely balling out. And once again, thank you to Jared from Bowling for Soup. The last I checked, he was the big tipper or supporter. Or as I say, he obviously loved Kelly most. So there you go. Appreciate that. It was good to hear from Sybil, right? That was good. We talked to her a little bit. She's going to be co-hosting with us tonight at 8 o'clock. What else do we have? Oh, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, the Ireland trip. That's what it was. I wanted to give this story. This is a good story you'll appreciate. So we went to Ireland. It was me, Kelly, Bert Kreischer, and Steve Byrne. That was it, Steve Byrne. Comedian Steve Byrne, very funny guy. And I somehow we were at this. So there's this castle in Dublin that they turned into a discotheque, and apparently the Jameson people rented out this entire discotheque castle for the night, and they threw this big Jameson party. Now there were DJs, radio personalities from all over America that were flown out to do this live thing. Kelly and I were lucky to be one of them. Every DJ had a group of celebrities that they brought. Like, so we would say, Jameson would say, is there any like regulars that you want to bring on this trip? And we're like, yeah. And so it was Kreischer and it was Byrne and it was, actually, I might have this wrong. I think that was another trip. It doesn't matter. I'm hanging out with Bert Kreischer, Kelly, and Steve Byrne, and we're at this castle, and we are drinking copious amounts of whiskey. It's a Jameson event. That's all there is whiskey. I mean, you can have a beer too, but you're being frowned at. Unbelievable. I mean, it is, I'm sitting, and by the way, I'm also on Valium because I had a couple of Valium for the airplane, because if you think I'm flying 6 hours in a plane over open water without being highly, highly medicated, you're nuts. So I had some of that. And I don't know, I was in Ireland. I was like, I'll just take a couple of these before the party and see what happens. And then I ingested copious amounts of whiskey, of free Jameson whiskey. So I wasn't feeling any pain, if you know what I mean. And Kelly was drunk. Kelly was drunk, but Kelly wasn't, like I was. So this is the famous Bert Kreischer got me to fight an entire Irish rugby team. Or at least set it up so that I was going to fight. He was one of the guests at this Jameson party was the Irish national rugby team, and they were drinking in the same area as us. And there was some joking back and forth, and I don't know, before I knew it, I had some dude from the Irish national team behind me calling me out, and I'm like, what? And then Kreischer's like, dude, he just said, and it was like, bouncers came, they separated us. It was, Kelly grabs me. She's just like, nobody was getting thrown out. We were all VIPs to some degree. This was a party for us. And I don't even know what it was about. I'm just like, yeah, fuck you, dude. It's this professional athlete, a rugby athlete. I'm about to get my ass kicked. I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Kelly grabbed me, took me out on this like veranda, remember, this is a castle, this is a medieval castle. She takes me out on this like private little patio, and we're standing there, and it's St. Patrick's Day, and it's Dublin, and we're up on this castle on a hillside, and we're looking down at Dublin, and I'm just thinking, this is fucking awesome. And the first thing I said to her was, I go, look at that. That's amazing. And she slapped me right across the face. Just cracked me right across the face. She said, you get your shit together. You get your shit together right now. I am not going to share any kind of burden with you over this. She could put me in my place. She didn't have to do it many times, but that was one of the times when she did. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting a little crazy. We're getting a little crazy. She's like, this is a fucking sponsor, asshole. And you're fighting, go to the hospital, and what I'm supposed to do. This is what she said. She says, what? You end up in the hospital. I'm supposed to do this show alone tomorrow? That was her big concern. Oh, and then we had another fight on another trip. We fought on trips. We were very much like a married couple that weren't having sex. So we're like a lot of married couples who fight on trips. There was this trip to Iceland that we took. We went to Iceland with again, another one of these junkets with a bunch of celebrities. This time it was Shannon Elizabeth and the band Vertical Horizon. Do you remember that band? I don't know why. They were just very random, but they had a hit at the time. So so we're in Iceland, and they put together these incredible tours for all the DJs, right? So you got to wake up. It's like every moment of your time is accounted for. And I'm in Iceland, and I'm having fun. This is like totally cool. And I have become friends with Mickey, who is a shock jock from Baltimore. He's a morning show shock jock, the Mickey and Amelia show. And I'm hanging out with Mickey. We're having fun, man. We are going hard in Reykjavik. It's during the summer solstice, so the sun is out 24 hours a day. So we are in clubs. We're in clubs at like 7:30 in the morning because all the lines are blurred. Nobody knows when it's nighttime or what, and everything stays open. It's an event there, and that's why we went, Reykjavik. So we are partying hard, me and Mickey. This is the famous, and I'm not going to tell this story, but this was the night we spent in the Russian mob-controlled Icelandic brothel, just partying with Russian mobsters. We didn't partake in the brothel. It was the only bar that was open when we went, and it was the bar, and but we ended up in a bar with a bunch of, anyway, we didn't get home till late. We had an off day. We didn't have to do a show, so I knew I could sleep in, except there was one problem. As a part of this tour, all the shows had to go on, as a part of the trip, all of the shows had to go on this tour, this sightseeing tour, put together by the Travel Bureau of Iceland. And the reason is because the Travel Bureau of Iceland wanted us to be able to go on the show and talk about all of these things. Well, I did not go to that. I was... In fact, and this is where the problem is, all of the responsible partners of DJs who were there at like 8 a.m. in the morning in front of the hotel getting ready to get on the bus to go look at volcanoes for the next 8 hours, they're all standing there as Mickey and me come walking in. And Kelly and Amelia, who was Mickey's partner, Kelly and Amelia are just standing there, and we just walked right past them. And I remember thinking, oh, man, we are going to be in trouble. We are going to be in trouble. And Mickey, as we were getting into the elevator, he goes, that didn't look good. I'm like, no. He's like, do you think we should go? And I go, I am going to bed. So Kelly was really pissed off. I can't speak to Amelia, but Kelly was really pissed off at me because she had, once again, she had to go and do this thing. And so I go to bed, and I'm laying there for about an hour in bed, and I'm just starting to fall asleep, and my phone rings, and I answer it, and it was Kelly's boyfriend at the time, Tyson Walter of the Dallas Cowboys, who at the time was a offensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm like, oh, well, that's Tyson. And I see it, and I'm like, hey man, what's going on? And he just fucking went nuts on me. Why is it that I got to get woken up or whatever it was by my girlfriend because she's so pissed at you and she can't? And I'm like, oh, fuck, really? She's pissed? Like, I'm like, hey, man, we're in Iceland. I'm just having fun. It's like, get your shit together. I didn't go on that trip, and I think we survived. That was fine, but we were icy the rest of. She was icy towards me the rest of that trip. She was mad, but whatever. She was fine. She spent that entire. This is what Kelly did. Okay, this is what Kelly could do. I have a tendency to go find the people who are going to find the most fun. Right? Those are the people that I tend to find in these things. Kelly didn't. Kelly would go after and start, pursue, or not even pursue, but just end up being friends with like the most important person there, who obviously wasn't an idiot like we were. All us idiots were like, let's go partying. And she's like, no, I'm just going to hang out in the lobby and maybe have a drink at the bar and all that. And that's how she became friends with Shannon Elizabeth. remember Shannon Elizabeth Nadia from American Pie? We come back from the bars, man, and this was Iceland. We come back from the bars and walking through the lobby of this amazing Reykjavik hotel, and we are all just fucking drunk. And we look there in the middle of the lobby of the hotel is Kelly and Shannon Elizabeth playing poker, or Shannon Elizabeth is teaching Kelly how to play poker or something. And, all the rest of us guy DJs were all like, we're all like, yeah, man, how are we going to get Shannon Elizabeth on here, man? Shannon Elizabeth, man, she's hot, man. You go talk to her. I'm going to talk to her, man. She's too hot. That's the vibe among all those guys. And I'm walking through the lobby, and I remember saying to Mickey, I go, what looks like we're having Shannon Elizabeth on tomorrow. I don't know what you guys are doing, but my partner's been doing the heavy lifting. And that was weird because Shannon Elizabeth was there with her husband at the time, and I guess they were going through a divorce, and it was a very strange. We had both of them on at the same time, and Kelly knew about what was going on because Kelly had inexplicably become entrenched in Shannon Elizabeth's life at that point. Kevin says, so here's something that we're going to do. This is very important to me. Let me find that. Yeah, the thing that Kevin just said. No, there it is. Okay. So Kevin says, gosh, I wish we'd have been able to hear your Pugs and Kelly shows. The clips I've heard were brilliant. My kind of radio. Yeah, I think you would have liked it, Kevin. I think you would have liked it because you would have the same influences that Kelly and I did. Stephen Gary, With Kelly and I, it was also a little bit of Roe Kahn and Gary Meyer. We thought that they were incredible practitioners of talk radio. But Stephen Gary was really our base. That's who we stole everything from. That's the whole style. That's the Chicago style of talk, which is now called podcasting, which you can now hear on Smartless or, Armchair Expert. They're all doing the Stephen Gary Chicago style of talk radio. Non-political, just conversational. Kevin says, yeah, I wish I could have been able to hear those shows. So here's what's going on. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start this over we're going to start streaming all those old shows. Not the old shows, mind you, but we have we have a lot of best of material. So anything that over the 10 years or whatever at the different stations that we deemed to be best of material that would be used for shows when we were absent or something, we have all of that. So we're going to start streaming that stuff. I mean, we want people to hear her. I want people to hear her, and we're thinking we're going to be able to use it as a way to help with the GoFundMe, which again, you can go to pugsandkellyshow.com, and that'll take you directly to the GoFundMe page. Just go to Pugs and Kelly Show, and it'll take you to the In Loving Memory of Kelly Mohr on GoFundMe. But very shortly, like within the next few days, we are going to be making large chunks of the old Pugs and Kelly Show available on Radio Misfits. So we're just going to maybe a stream, maybe we just put an archive, maybe I just listen to, I don't know what we're going to do. but it is extreme. It has never been important to me or her over the past 10 years to sort of rehash that. We were always one of the reasons that, I mean, there were opportunities had we truly pursued them to do something else, do mornings or something, but it was never what we knew we could excel at, which was that style of talk radio, that Chicago style conversational chemistry that doesn't have benchmarks and we're not up against the clock. And I mean, we are up against the clock and there are benchmarks, but there's a way to do those kinds of shows where those aren't so obvious and gratuitous. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to put those up. I think that there's probably in the next few days going to be an option, and I'll tell you about it on Radio Misfits to listen to those old shows. I can tell you that my 15-year-old son, this is what a narcissist I am. So we go on long car trips, whether we're driving between Chicago and Dallas or whatever. And I used to just randomly, just pop in an old best of CD and start playing. And he'd listen to it for a few minutes and he'd look at me and he's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is your dad, man. This is me interviewing John Cena back in the day." And he'd look at me and he's like, "Dad, I hate when you do this." And then he'll put his headphones on and ignore me. And he'll be like, "Fuck." Because then it's just me listening to it alone in my car. And that's loser behavior. So gotta take it out. But no, we'll make them available. We have them. I can't listen. I can't listen to it right just yet. So yeah. So there you go. We're gonna do that. We're gonna bring that all back and make it available to people if they just want to go down memory lanes and think about Kelly and what they loved about her and all that. We will make that available for you to some degree. Here you go. Brandon says, Brandon Bates, are you guys going to try and get in touch with BDH? BDH is Richard Hunter, one of the greatest talk show hosts that I've ever seen. That's the whole thing. The best don't always become, nationwide superstars. He was the best. He did a style of talk radio that just had the programmers confused. They didn't know what to make of it. I loved it. BDH is what we called him. Richard Hunter. Big Dick Hunter was his on-air sort of persona. Big Dick Hunter, BDH. Talked to BDH last night. Hopefully we're going to get him on the show tonight. Maybe he'll come on. He'll say something. There's something, you know what? We got to have him on because I want to make sure. I think he thinks Kelly. I don't know. Kelly loved him. I just for some reason I think there was an incident where there was a misunderstanding about something, and that's I don't know. Whatever. We'll have him on, but I definitely would love to hear some BDH stories about Kelly because he was pretty close with us back in the day. What else do we have? Brandon says, or Ben and Skin. Ben and Skin are lovely people, and both of them have reached out in very kind ways and offered condolences. They're terrific guys. Afternoons on the Freak still, crushing it. Get over there, support them. BenandSkin.com, all that stuff. But it probably wouldn't be appropriate because they didn't really know each other. They knew of each other. And I think there was a mutual respect there. I mean, Kelly wasn't one of these people who hated other radio people. That's another thing that was so unique about her. Most people in radio hate everybody else in radio. They don't trust them, or they're like, "Man, I don't want to be friends with that guy. I don't trust him." That whole thing. Kelly considered it a badge of honor to have this group of friends who were competing. Like if you were competing against Kelly, she was likely to go to your, she was just so weird about that kind of stuff. She'd walk in the morning and she'd be like, "So, Shannon and I last night." I'm like, "Okay, you and Shannon? What's going on? Who's Shannon?" "Oh, Shannon from the Kid Craddock show." I'm like, ugh. What are you doing hanging out with the Kid Craddock show? Oh, we're all friends. I'm like, no, this is radio. We're not all friends. So as far as Ben and Skin go, they didn't really know each other, but I know that because I had talked to her recently about them, and I know that she was like, man, look at them go. So there was that. So, but there would be no reason to reach out to them. I mean, I guess there is the natural sort of, they are a part of Pugs and Kelly show history in that they were the show that when we left 105.3 for 93.3, they were the ones that got the call up. They were on the bench there at the ticket and they got the call up, and man, they took advantage of the situation and crushed it, and they haven't looked back since. But that's the only tangential sort of relationship that we have to them. I don't know that Kelly knew them. I think I probably know them a little bit better. You know what? Look at this. Some of the funniest stories from your broadcasts at the Grammys. Did you go to the Grammys? Did you? I shouldn't be asking Tammy this, but I mean, God, that's such an awful thing to ask an ex-girlfriend. Were you the one that I took on that trip or what? But she's right. There are some great, and I found something that I had never found before, and I found it last night, and I couldn't watch them. Maybe that'd be something we can do right now. Maybe I can try to do this right now. I found a bunch of old video recordings from our Grammy trips of us interviewing whomever. One of the most incredible moments of our radio life occurred at the Grammys when I was really getting into, and Kelly was too, getting into our conversation with Paul Rogers of Bad Company, Paul Rogers of The Firm, Paul Rogers of, probably one of the 3 or 4 greatest voices in rock and roll history. I feel like making. He was amazing. So our famous Paul Rogers interview is there on YouTube, where we're talking with Paul Rogers, and in the middle of it, Pat Monahan, who was a semi-regular on our show, so he felt comfortable doing this. Pat Monahan, the lead singer of Train, who at the time this was happening were riding super high on Soul Sister or whatever song, Sweet Soul, so whatever that song was. It was like #1 song in America at the time. So he was big. So we're talking to Paul Rogers, and Pat Monahan just crashes the interview. And it's just like, hey, Pugs Kelly, I'm sorry, man. He goes, but I need to meet Paul. I need to meet Paul Rogers. And they sat down and they talked. And Kelly and I, we looked at each other. I can't play this, or I'm going to show you an example of it. But I wouldn't play it as an example of me and Kelly, because this was a moment where Kelly and I just looked at each other and leaned back in our booth and just let Paul Rogers and Pat Monahan just talk about music and talk about how Paul Rogers was such a gentleman. You would think that Paul Rogers might not even know who Pat Monahan is, but Pat Monahan came in there and he was like, oh, I just want to say I love. You know what? We will play a little bit of that. And you know what? Why not? We got nowhere to be. There we go. Let me see some of these. And maybe we will. I have not looked at any of this stuff yet. I just know it's there. But I just don't want to see her. Okay, wait. So I'm looking for this stuff. Bear with me. There was a lot. I'm not a big Googling of myself and all of that. I hate it. It's a part of being self-loathing. So I had never really searched for any Pugs and Kelly content on YouTube, and there's not a lot of it. They locked down our shows and all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of interesting things. There's a lot of really interesting things. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find this. William Fichtner. Who's that? Who's this? Oh, the Kids in the Hall. That might be one we could listen to just to hear Kelly's voice. Oh, God, that would totally bum me out. Hold on. Huh. All right, you know what? I'm gonna have to do a lot of this stuff. I think we'll play some of this stuff tonight at 8:00 for sure, or maybe we won't. I don't know. We might have too many guests. We'll see. We'll do it now. Now's the time. We're going nowhere, right? All right. I'm so angry because there was this whole bunch of like Grammy stuff. Oh, I know what it is. I know where I need to go. Yeah, after the show, I'll put a lot of this stuff together, and then we'll play some of the better stuff. What is this? Oh my God! Oh, here. Okay, let's just see. I want to see. Watch this be a day when she wasn't there. Watch this be a day when it was Dick Hunter filling in. Let's see what this is. Nope, she's there. All right, here we go. I'm gonna watch a little of this. We may not watch the whole thing, but I just like to see her. I think. I don't know exactly. All right, how do I got to get rid of. There we go.
We've been doing this contest all week. Apparently, you're letting someone be the victim of the head crusher / face crusher.
Is that tonight?
Is that tonight?
I'm glad you told me. Yes, I've heard that we're doing that somewhere.
Here's what we did.
Do we have a winner?
We asked. Well, we've got 3, and we asked questions, Kids in the Hall trivia questions, and because I didn't do any research, I just came up with them off the top of my head, being a fan. And the way we gauged who won was, it wasn't what's the answer to this question. It's what does Pugs think is the answer to this question.
Yeah,
that's
just in
much
case
better.
we were wrong about something.
That's good.
Look
That's
it
good.
up. It sort of indemnifies us, you know.
Right.
So I thought I would ask you guys the questions. You tell me if it's true, okay?
Okay.
All right.
First one was, where did the name Kids in the Hall come from?
True.
Bum, 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 bum.
Are we supposed to answer the
Yes.
question?
I would
Yes.
like you, yes.
I was doing the music for you.
Oh, I'm
Kevin.
sorry. Oh, okay. Do it again. Ask me again.
Where did the name Kids in the Hall come from?
Bum, 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 bum,
From the Clash album London Calling.
bum,
No, I'm
bum,
lying.
bum.
Wait, one of us is wrong.
No, I'm lying. I say that sometimes because there is a line in the Clash album London Calling in the song Lost in the Supermarket where they say the kids in the hall make noises in the walls
Yeah.
and it's bang noises so scarily. But I'm lying.
That's cool.
Okay, ask me again. I'll tell the right answer.
Kevin McDonald, where does the name Kids in the Hall come from?
Bum, 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 bum,
Well, in the
bum,
1950s,
bum,
Sid Caesar and other
bum,
comedians had
bum,
TV shows where they had regular
bum,
writers.
bum,
But sometimes the regular
bum,
writers wouldn't
bum,
satisfy Sid Caesar and the other superstars. So sometimes they would say, well, I'll go to the Kids in the Hall. The Kids in the Hall were young guys who wanted to be writers. And then he would go there, and two of the Kids in the Hall happened to be Woody Allen and Neil Simon, that nickname Kids in the Hall. Dave Foley and I heard that story in a party, and then we said, hey, why don't we call ourselves Kids in the Hall?
All right. Judges, is that right? Yes, that is what Pug
correct.
said.
That
is what
is.
Pug
Way to
said.
go, Kevin.
All right.
It reminds me of Gary Marshall's similar story about the Wake Me When It's Funny.
Oh, from the
When he used to
book
write.
you read?
Mhm.
Okay, this question now is from Mark McKinney of the Kids in the Hall. Mark,
Yes.
who did Pugs say was the American television executive who brought the Kids in the Hall to American television?
Tick tock, tick tock, tick
Oh God, I know this one.
20, 19,
God,
18, 17,
Lewis,
16, 15, 14,
Levon,
15,
no,
12, 11, 10,
We're
9,
going to
Lorne
measure
Michaels.
answers.
7.
Lauren Michael, did he get it in? Judges?
You got it in.
Is correct. That is what Pugs said. Now, are both of those true, or were you just listening?
That's actually true.
They are true.
We're big fans. We're listening.
And of course, the final one was name. This is for both of you. First one to buzz in. Name the band who composed the theme to the Kids in the Hall. Kevin McDonald.
No, that's Shadowy Men from a Shadowy Planet. He can't. He gets too
Sorry.
excited.
Judges, can we accept Kevin's answer? I know.
I know, it was too
Mark
blurred
for the
together.
steal.
Shadowy Men from a Shadowy Planet.
Oh, it is
There you
correct.
go. He wins tickets to see Kids in the Hall tonight. Fuck
You
yeah.
crush your own head.
Yay!
Okay, guys, those are the 3 questions that we asked. Now, one of these winners is going to be the victim of the head crusher.
Oh, I thought you were just listing the apostles.
Who do you two? This is your final question, bonus round.
Okay.
Who do you like best? Matthew, John, or David?
See?
Who do you like best?
Matthew's good, but David's good.
Gentlemen, I'm going to need your answer.
Matthew.
It's correct! Matthew will be the victim of the head crusher tonight.
We didn't obviously see that beforehand, so it's not exactly a lot of Kelly. It's more me, which is kind of. But let me tell you something. That is look at me. I didn't even realize this, but now I feel that I can say I've done improv with the kids in the hall. That's going on the comedy resume. Let's see if there's something else. Is there maybe something else that we can watch for a little bit? I love that. I absolutely love that. And it's hard for me to say that because it's something that I did, right? So it's like, oh, patting myself on the back. But I love that because it just reminded me of how her and I worked together. We had nothing. She probably came up with that concept. I don't remember the details, but the concept of what those pugs think is the truth. I think that I was probably very excited about the kids in the hall coming on. And then I just started rattling off stuff in the meeting or in the office. She probably said, "You're just making half that up." And I bet that's where that bit came from, because that's how we worked together. And I didn't remember any of that. And I saw I started watching it with all of you for the first time. And I was really nervous because, again, I think everything we do sucks, right? That's just how we look. If I did it, it sucks. So I was really nervous. I'm like, oh, this is probably going to suck. This is going to be bad. And then I started to see, and I was reminded of how she and I worked together. And I'm like, oh, I know what this is probably going to be. And she took a back seat to it, but her job was to be a sniper there because obviously I was the kids in the hall fan then. Wish I had a better one. There was the old TV commercial. Is this the old? Yeah, this ran like 5 times. Something in our contract about we needed TV commercials, and they're like, yeah, and they bought like one. they ran during Saturday Night Live once or something. I don't know. Here it is. Old Jimmy Blue Eyes. We didn't even have a budget to cast real actors. So yeah, we had a couple of these, but this was one of our TV commercials.
Getting you through your workday.
Cats and dogs don't speak the same language.
How do you know that?
Pugs and Kelly.
Tom and Jerry spoke the same language.
Tom and Jerry didn't speak at all.
They didn't?
Noon to 3 on Free FM. Live 105.3.
Get it? Get it? It's like if you're in your car, it's like we're in the back seat. Come on. Guess whose idea that was? Yep. That was Kelly's idea. She's like, why don't we just get in the back seat of a car? Because there was like a budget. They're like, yeah, we're going to do this TV commercial, but the budget is this. And they were like, we've got this person doing it, and they're going to cost. And I think, was that Sam, the mailman, or maybe it was just Jimmy? That was Jimmy, the guy driving. We were like, why don't we just shoot it ourselves? Don't pay them. Take the money that you would have paid, because it was simple. It was a simple concept. And Kelly came up with it. She's like, all we need is a car and a camera. And then, you can make it look like it's only going to be a short 15-second commercial. And yes, she never bought into the concept that Tom and Jerry didn't speak. For some reason, in her mind, in Kelly's mind, Tom and Jerry had voices. And she will fight you on that. No, they didn't, Kelly. It was all music and orchestration. No, they had voices. She also spent her entire life arguing that, and she'd never seen the movie Braveheart. This is one of my favorite stories about my favorite Kelly Peccadillos. She never saw the movie Braveheart because she doesn't like movies about Indians. And it's not about Indians, Kelly. It's not about Native Americans. Doesn't matter. Sounds like it is. I'm not going to enjoy it. And then just anytime that movie would come up, she'd be like, I hate cowboy and Indian movies. That's not what it was. Peter says, I forgot that was Live 105.3's name before Live. What was it? Was that Free FM? Was that during the Free FM days? Yeah. There's Cody. Cody Burleson is here hanging out. We all need to show your respect and love to Cody. Cody's taking this across the chops as much as anyone. He was as close to Kelly as anybody ever could be. Cody went from being an intern on the Pugs and Kelly show to being a producer on the Pugs and Kelly show to essentially living with Kelly and raising her children with her. I posted, Cody went from Cody the intern to Uncle Jesse, because Cody, as happenstance, also ended up moving to Corpus Christi around the same time as Kelly, and he was there, and they didn't know each other, so he became a part of those kids' family. Cody's now up in the Pacific Northwest, so that was it was a difficult conversation I had with Cody, and we love you, Cody. I'd like to have Cody on the show tonight, but he can reach out to me if that's something that he'd be interested in doing. I know people have lives, and a lot of people just do not want to talk about this yet, and that's fine. Frank says, what is my secret for not aging? I don't know, man. I didn't recognize that human thumb that we just saw. God, I look so much like a thumb. That was just such a bad look. How was I getting laid? Oh, I know, the radio show. That's how that worked. Yeah, I hate looking at pictures of me back then. Let's see here. So I don't know. You know what? Well, let me look. Can I scroll through some pictures? Can I do that awful thing that we don't want to ever be stuck watching when we go over to someone's house? You know, their family vacation photos and shit like that. See if there's some pictures here. Let's see here. Oh, here, this one right here. This is a very cool picture. This is the one. This is good to show because maybe I'll play this. But yeah, this is you can see Kelly and me. I had the green computer. She had the pink one. They were given to us. I think that was a part of a deal. See, Kelly and I, we're in the back of the booth, and we're just kind of leaning back. And on the right there, in the crazy orange dragon shirt, is rock legend, icon, and two-time Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Paul Rogers. And to the left is Pat Monahan of Train, who at this moment in time had the number one song in America with that Sweet Soul Sister. This is one of our great memories. I love this. We just sat back. Kelly and I just looked at each other and said, okay, it's going to be much better if we just let these two guys talk and we eavesdrop. So I was thinking I would share it, but it's really just an interview between these two guys. Oh, I don't know what we're looking at here. My profile pictures? I don't think so. Okay, well, let's see if there's any other good. I don't have a Kelly file. So it's just rando pictures. I'm just looking for something that's here. This is a great picture. This is a good one. This was Kelly in her blonde phase. This was, I think, my birthday. And of course, we got Kelly here on the left. Tyson, I told you about him. Tyson was Kelly's boyfriend for a brief period of time. He was He played for the Cowboys. She used to call him my big dumb boy toy. Because he was significantly younger than her. He was like only in his second year in the league or something. So there's him. That's me and the old mystery girl who was my girlfriend for a period of time, the lovely Sybil. And we got the two Bobs. We got Bobby, who was our producer at the time. Look at him. Look at him, Bobby. He's on his way to a weed deal. He's like, hey, man, I just popped in. I got to drop off a brick of weed to a dude in that apartment complex. Okay, Bobby, you go do you. No, I'm kidding. Bobby was a fascinating dude. And this was Bob McNeil. Bob McNeil was our program director. He was the boss man. Yeah, I don't want to show those pictures. There's some pictures. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's do these. Let's look through some of these. I love these. Seems like I found something. I'll tell you what's going on here and what I remember, and if you folks in the chat room know any more than I do, help me out. All right, what we got here, this is a small picture. We don't like this, but this is an example. I posted this on my Facebook page. That's Kelly on the right. She could not dance. She was an absolutely horrendous dancer, and she owned it. She loved to dance, and she's like, okay, like she'd be like a dude would be like, hey man, you want to dance? And she'd be like, yeah, do you want to dance with me? And then she'd go out there and just dance poorly, not comically, not like over the top, just by any measure, poorly. You just be like, that was she? Is she even in rhythm? Like it was just, and she owned that shit. She's like, yeah, let's go, let's dance. She was like, as I say, like Elaine Bennis in Seinfeld. When the Elaine started to dance and they learned that Elaine couldn't dance, and they're like, oh, God, that's who she was. And again, it's made all the more fascinating when you learn that Kelly's mother was a ballerina who really only wanted Kelly to dance. So it's like the ultimate thing of Kelly's rebellion, that she would like, no, I'm going to dance poorly. I'm going to dance a lot. I will embarrass my mom. My mom will not. I think this is Sports City Cafe. I believe that's Jesse. Is that Jesse Jane? I think that might be Jesse Jane with us out there at Sports City Cafe. Jesse Jane. Jesse Jane is probably up there mixing cocktails waiting for Kelly to show up. They were very friendly. Kelly was like... Kelly had a lot of wounded ducks. Kelly had a lot of like, she was kind to the porn stars is what I'll say. This is Kelly and Sybil. This is Kelly and her brother. That's, of course, Aaron Sockwell in the background, ruining this beautiful picture. Aaron Sockwell in the chat room right now, ruining this picture. Aaron, do you know how beautiful this picture would be on this particular day if you weren't behind them doing jackassery? Look at you. You ruined this moment. Own that, Aaron Sockwell. That's me and her on stage. I'm sorry, these pictures are all so small. Maybe we do this. You know what? They don't have to be that small. Look at us. She was beautiful. I mean, I could see it when guys would be like, she's really pretty. If you guys ever... Stop it. No. This is my favorite picture of her of all time. This is my end-all, be-all favorite picture of Kelly. There is no other picture that when I think of her in my head, I think of this picture. And again, it didn't take Aaron Sockwell to ruin this one. There is a fucking flower that is coming across her face. Now, I know that there are ways to digitally fix that, and I would like someone to do that for me because I do not know how to do that. But look at this picture. That is her natural smile. That is her. She is truly, this isn't posed. She is really ignited right here. She is ignited and she is engaged, and she is about to say something funny. She's about to just say some one-liner that I love that picture of her. That's my favorite picture of her. Okay. Paul. We're here. Okay, so we don't need these anymore. Let's see if we got any more pictures. There's lots of pictures. I just don't have them sorted, So give me a moment. I'm going to have to put these together. People have sent me so many pictures over the past couple of days, and I appreciate you. And you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put them together, and I'll make a nice montage. But forgive me for not doing that in the last couple of days. It's just been really tiring. Okay, what do we have here? Let's see what this is. Okay. I guess we already saw this to some extent. This is that Paul Rogers and Pat Monahan thing. Oh, the lovely Sarah Dodd. I don't know where this is. It's local news, darling. This is when Kelly and I were in Chicago, although Kelly is not in this picture. This is Doc, who I always talk about. It's Kevin Matthews. It's my mom. This is the lovely Jelly. I don't know why I need to announce all these people, but okay. There's Doc. That's Doc on the wall at the House of Blues, the house that Doc built in Chicago. This is Dukes. Let's see if you can find Kelly. Here's me. This is something, now that it'll never happen again, now that there will never be, another, part 2 of Pugs and Kelly doing whatever. Now that that's over with, I can say confidently and proudly that she and I put together the single greatest ongoing radio promotion in the history of Dallas radio. There has never been another promotion that occurred every week for 3 to 4 months, every year, every week, that drew consistently 1,500 people to a bar. There just wasn't. It was dodgeball. And dodgeball, I can't say that it was completely Kelly's idea. It was actually an idea that I stole from the show that I was a part of in Chicago, the Kevin Matthews show. Kevin Matthews always wanted to do a dodgeball tournament. Like, this is going back to the 90s. He's like, we should do a dodgeball tournament. I think that'd be great. And so when I came here, I mentioned it, and Kelly was familiar with the concept because she knew that Kevin was always pushing to get a dodgeball tournament going. And so she was all in. And we went all in. Look at that crowd. That is a massive crowd. That is a massive crowd that we drew every goddamn Wednesday night to Dukes on it. Beltline. Here's me. This is me standing in the middle of it right here. Where's Kelly? Let's see if we can see, because I know Kelly's somewhere. This is fun, man. Where's Kelly? Boom? Maybe? No. Oh my God. Where's Kelly? I don't know. Anyway, fun games we can play. This is another St. Patrick's Day show. I believe this is when we were interviewing Shonen Knife. Shonen Knife. This is a duo of Japanese punk rock girls. They were so sweet, and they spoke so little English, and it was just me and Kelly draft day Cowboys. This is me talking shit to some cowboy. I'm leaning in. I'm like, you suck. Let's go. And then Kelly's holding the microphone. We used to host a bunch of cowboy stuff. I don't even know who any of these guys are. You cowboy fans probably do. Just tell me who they are. Okay, that's another crowd. We need more about Kelly. More about Kelly, less about me. Let me keep looking at these pictures, though, guys. I was never a big picture guy. Like, maybe I just never took a lot of pictures. And now, as you get older and people are dying, I'm like, I wish I had more pictures than what I have. Gosh, this is such a mess. I have no idea where I can find more pictures. Here's one. This one's making me laugh. This one's making me laugh because I can tell that this is at the end. Okay, so I'll tell you, I don't know this to be true, but here's what I think is going on. I think this is the end of a bar night. I think that we were probably contracted to stay at this place for 2 hours. I think Kelly and Sybil, I think the 2 hours are up. And I think Kelly and Sybil have their coats on and are on their way out the door. And I'm like, I'm going to stick around for a while. I don't know about you guys. And yes, that looks like Kelly's smile there says to me, oh my God, sure, I'll take a picture. Pugs, I want to get the fuck out of here. Sybil looks down. Sybil looks like she's yay, pictures. Like that's Sybil. Like Sybil's a retard. I know we're not allowed to say that word anymore, and I apologize, but I don't really think anybody that's offended is going to be listening. And if you are, I apologize. I'm all up in my stuff. I'm not talking normal. Yeah, okay. So I don't know. So once again, I really need to learn how to put these in a filter or a hold on a second. Maybe we'll do this. I know this is terrible. I thought somebody sent me on Facebook a link to the pictures. And there they are. Okay. Can we do this in a gallery? Yeah, looks like we can. All right, these are from Devin. Devin, who stop screen sharing. I don't want to stop screen. Yeah, stop screen sharing. Devin, who was one of our everything guys back at 105.3. He took a lot of pictures that I didn't even know. You know, he's the guy that's there taking pictures that you don't even notice that pictures were taken. What's that guy doing? Taking pictures. This was our booth. This is the fabled Pugs and Kelly booth at the Staples Center for the Grammy Awards. We did such a good job. I mean, we were a major market show, but we did such a good job of promoting the Grammys that they rewarded us every year by giving us the same booth. We used to call it the Sinatra booth because there were a whole bunch of DJs flown in from all over the country, and there was only like 3 good booths. One of them went to New York, one of them went to LA, and this one went to us. And we got it every year for like 5 years in a row. And let me tell you, it was really good because all of the celebrities wanted to sit in the comfortable booth and not on some funky chair that was, just placed in the middle of a room. We used to talk about our booth all the time. We were very proud of our booth. That's Eric, by the way. That is Eric out there with us. That's Kelly. You might hear me talk about Kelly's big, giant, comical pink bag. Well, there it is. She took it everywhere with her. It had everything. It had whatever you need. Kelly's got in her big, giant pink bag. These are our friends. These are DJs from Phoenix. There's a big little group picture. Morning show. Oh, Putty. Look at us. That's us and Putty. Kat Von D. Kelly and Kat Von D looking at me like, why does this girl have so many tattoos? It's kind of her thing. I don't know who this is. These are a bunch of Hannah Montana people. Yeah, that's a Hannah Montana person. Oh, Al Jorgensen. This was a funny one. Okay. So this is Al Jorgensen from Ministry. The first thing I said to him when he sat down was I accused him of owing me $1,500 because I signed up for a course. He was a so-called professor at Columbia when I went there, and I signed up for his course, and he never showed up. He never showed up, and it was just a bunch of dudes who were working on behalf of Al Jorgensen. And I'm like, dude, you took my money. And then he's like, yeah, I was on a lot of drugs back then. That was some crazy times. I was just, I think, taking that as a paycheck and not really doing it. Yeah, no, I can attest you were not doing it. Al Jorgensen of Ministry. That's some dude. That's, these look like porn people to me. I think that's Tara Patrick. Kelly keeping her distance. From the, she wasn't like that, but it does look like she's like sketchy guest. That's a sketchy guest, Pugs. I'm like, yeah, sketchy guest. Hanson. This is Us with Hanson. I'd like to find that interview. She really took the lead on Hanson. Grown up Hanson. There's grown up Hanson. Pauly Shore. I think Pauly a problem? No, Rob Schneider was the problem. Kelly digging through her bag because she couldn't care less about what Pauly Shore is talking about. Digging through her giant bag. I don't know who this is. Oh, is that? I know who that guy is. I don't remember his name though. He was like a reality show host. That is Brigitte Nielsen. There you go. There she is. Brigitte Nielsen. Oh, we don't need to show that stuff. That's somebody really big. I don't know their name. That's somebody really big in hip hop who wasn't quite so big in hip hop at this point, but now he's really big and I can't remember his name. But I do remember this was the day I stood on the corner next to a young Rihanna and she was wearing a Civil War cap and she was carrying a bird in a cage. She knew that she had interviews that day, and yet for some reason, she took a bird in a cage to the interviews. And I'm standing on the corner and I look at this girl and Big Dick Hunter says, ask her about the hat. I'm like, no, I'm not going to ask her about the hat. She would, of course, within the next 6 months, become the Rihanna we all know. Oh, that's me and Kim. Yeah, this is me and Kim. Now I love these pictures. Kelly is not into this interview. Look at it. Kelly did not like that me and Kim Kardashian were vibing so hard. Here's Kelly. She's like, whatever, because I was totally dominating it. And look at her. This is the face. Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is vibing. This is a good 10 minutes before she took a lot of time out of her day to explain to me the difference between red and green salsa. Look at her. She's not upset. Kelly is. Kelly's like, nope. What are we doing here? How long are we going to talk to Kim Kardashian? And I'm like, we're going to talk to her until she doesn't want to talk anymore because she's the most beautiful woman I've ever sat across from. Now, this is her going, come on. This was another good one. Like, you tell she's engaged with me. She's like, that's not true. And I'm like, it is true. I am totally single and ready to date. That can't be true. That's not what I said. All right, there's Kim. Pat Monahan from Train and Kelly. Another one of these dudes that, yeah, so I was emailing with Pat from Train. I'm like, wait, what? Why do you even have any kind of relationship with him? Paul Rogers. I'm sorry, guys. This is very, look at me. There they are. That was a cool interview. That was one of the coolest things I was ever a part of, seeing that happen. Don't know who that is. This is, we'll go with this. We got Mondo, we got Samalama Ding Dong, we got Kelly, we got me, and I don't know what we're doing. I am guessing that we are judging women in bikinis. I'm thinking it's something like that. All right, that's enough. We're good. We're good with all that stuff. Give me a moment, you guys, because I know that there are some things on YouTube maybe we could watch a little something more. All right. What is this? Oh, here was another one of these stupid commercials. We can show this one. This one over aired. Oh, God. Oh, my God. My stomach is churning just looking at these. Ugh. All right, here we go.
Who's getting you through your workday?
What everyone else is listening to at lunch.
Pugs and Kelly. Weekdays noon to 3 on Free FM. Live 105.3.
That one was, I did not get it. They're trying to explain it to me. No, get it? You're sitting there eating in silence because there's nothing for you to listen to because everybody is listening to you in lunch. And I'm like, if you're explaining, you're losing. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. T-Pain. Is that who that was? T-Pain? I thought there was somebody else there too, though, that's like currently pretty. I don't know who that was. Well, it's 2:03. It's 2:03. I want to mention one more time that we are going to be back tonight at 8 o'clock for a live stream. We're going to be drinking thanks to April. We got our Jameson. It's going to be hosted by me, James, Eric, and Sybil. We're just going to be talking. Maybe figure out a way to take some calls. We're going to have some guests come on. We're throwing it together. We don't know what this is going to look like, but we're going to tell stories about Kelly. So that's going to do it. All right. So once again, I would like to draw your attention to pugsandkellyshow.com, pugsandkellyshow.com. That is a direct link to the GoFundMe for Kelly's kids, 2 youngest kids, as I explained, and I don't know why I feel the need to explain, but Kelly would want. Kelly was an over-explainer. There are going to be some hiccups here in the immediate future for these kids, like, the immediate future. Like, there are expenses here. She was going through a divorce. There was going to be some issues about how we get everybody handled down there. And so there is a GoFundMe page that's been put up for end of life for Kelly. And just for these kids, these 2 young kids who are at current and possibly, who knows? Like, we don't know what's, I don't know. I'm not familiar very much with, what I'm saying is that there is a 25-year-old named Declan and a 23-year-old named McKenna, who many of you watched grow up, heard grow up, who are just balling out as big brothers and big sisters. They got 2 little ones, all of a sudden, who don't know what's going on. I mean, they do. One of them does. One of them maybe doesn't. I don't know. But anyway, that's what we're trying to do. We are trying to get them taken care of so that they can get all of Kelly's loose ends paid for, help with getting her will and estate and all of that stuff. No, that stuff's not free. There's just a lot of expenses. And you know that the 2 kids now who are in charge of all of this, one is a high school teacher and a football coach, and the other is a struggling actress in Los Angeles who's now here. So just out there. Like I always say, if you can, you will, because you're those kinds of people. But pugsandkellyshow.com. It's a direct hyperlink to the GoFundMe page. You'll see it there. Or if you could just go to GoFundMe and you can search In Loving Memory of Kelly Mohr. We'll see you tonight, right, guys? Hopefully. Who knows who's going to be stopping by? We're going to have a good time tonight. And at some point this week, I don't know. There may not be a show tomorrow at noon. It depends on what we do tonight. Tonight might end up at a bar down the street. You know what I mean? Tonight might end up any number of ways. So I don't know if we'll do a show tomorrow. My point is this. At some point, these shows will return to normal. We'll get into current events and all that kind of stuff. But I honestly don't give a shit. I don't give a shit right now because I'm working through some stuff. And as we always did all of these years, dating back to November of 2001, Kelly and I always appreciated you allowing us to work through our shit. Thank you.